Thanks for your company as always. See you next time on The Chase Australia.
Tonight in 7 News, the jobless figure through the roof. Young and old workers hit hardest and Queensland among the worst.
Open hostility. Peter Dutton unleashes on the Palaszczuk government for its Virgin bid.
Brand new, the parks, playgrounds and outdoor gyms built during lockdown and opening this weekend.
Exclusive, the radical plan to get stadiums safe for concerts and crowds again.
Faster, sooner, the $500 million 5G internet boost for Queensland.
The South East Library's reopening and the drive-through for books.
And one of Brisbane's best bands reuniting after a decade to play a one-off event.
Live from Brisbane, 7 News with Sharyn Ghidella and Max Futcher.
Good evening. Nearly 600,000 Australians have lost jobs due to the coronavirus lockdown last month. It's taken the unemployment rate to 6.2%, up 1%.
The Prime Minister called it a tough day for Australia, warning it's only going to get worse.
Fronting up to the largest number of jobs lost in a month ever.
This is a tough day for Australia, a very tough day. 594,300 jobs gone in March. Unemployment climbing 1% to 6.2%. In a word, devastating.
A tally of those thrown out of work and into the lines outside Centrelink as the COVID lockdown smashed the economy. The biggest hit, New South Wales, 221,000 jobs lost. Queensland, 129,000. Victoria, 127. WA, 62. And South Australia, 40,000.
These are families, these are friends, these are neighbours, these are workmates.
The number of underemployed also jumping to 1.8 million. Youth unemployment, 13.8%. The spirit of bipartisanship reaching its limit. Labor sheeting home blame.
Too many Australians lost their job in April because of a deliberate decision by the government.
A decision to exclude hundreds of thousands of casuals and entertainment workers from the JobKeeper program.
This is a program of historic proportions that is helping 6 million Australians right here, right now.
As bad as today's figures are, they're not the end of it. Scott Morrison's warning the country to brace itself for even worse news next month.
The task we have now is to reopen these businesses, to get employees back into their jobs.
That, he says, is the toughest challenge. Mark Riley, 7 News.
And Marlena Wap, the figures are sobering for Queensland.
Yeah, Sharyn, the unemployment rate was already high before the pandemic hit. It's now at 6.8%, one of the highest in the country and the highest it's been since November 2014. Today, the government moved ahead with the next stage of Cross River Rail. Tunnelling work has started, paving the way for more construction jobs. Searching for a light at the end of the tunnel, Cross River Rail ploughing on.
It is about jobs.
7,000 for the project, including 200 construction jobs for tunnelling work now underway at Roma Street Station, starting 18 metres underground.
These are jobs that we've been able to secure during the toughest of times with COVID-19.
Queensland's unemployment rate is above the national average, jumping to 6.8%, the second highest in the country behind South Australia.
We are expecting this to get worse.
Queensland has on average before the coronavirus had the worst and the highest unemployment rate.
I understand that there are a lot of people in Queensland tonight who are very upset. The families are very distressed.
Unemployed, the Premier says, through no fault of their own, grappling with the enormity of the economic shutdowns and a health crisis.
I think there's not a leader in the nation that does not feel that.
Treasury initially estimated up to 170,000 Queenslanders would be out of work by now. The latest modelling puts it much lower at almost 130,000.
Some of our restrictions are starting to ease this weekend, and hopefully that is going to see people returning back to work.
A glimmer of hope on the horizon. Marlena Wap, 7 News.
And don't miss where to look for employment, the industries where there are likely to be jobs and security in the months ahead. The state government's bid to buy a share of collapsed Virgin Australia has been labelled a stunt and a path to economic disaster by political rivals. But leading the charge, the new Treasurer claims it will secure jobs and the airline's future in Queensland.
It's an airline that can't fly, but a business the government still wants to buy.
We can back an airline that's based here in Queensland.
Operation Maroon, the Queensland Investment Corporation's bid to invest in embattled Virgin Australia.
It's not the intention of the Queensland government to purchase the airline in its entirety, but we want to take a strategic stake to preserve and protect jobs.
Thousands of them are on the line, along with vital regional routes and competition in the air. All reasons, the Treasurer says, to spend upwards of $200 million taxpayer dollars.
We're going to do this to protect Queensland's interests.
Cameron Dick's Virgin announcement is nothing but a cheap political ploy.
An equally harsh assessment coming from Canberra.
They can't run trains on time. How are they going to run an airline?
Peter Dutton, I thought you were talking about someone who was serious and could be taken credibly.
Administrators are now searching for buyers, with big players locally and internationally keen for a piece of the airline.
Having a government backing like this, I think, will give other investors confidence that it is the right way to go.
The Queensland government looking to partner with other bidders to secure the deal. Whatever the bid ultimately looks like, and whoever the Queensland Investment Corporation chooses to partner with, there will be some non-negotiables, including keeping the headquarters of Virgin Australia right here in Brisbane. The airline's home for now. Joel Dry, 7 News.
Another night of no new cases of coronavirus in Queensland, and now researchers believe those who've recovered could hold the key to helping critically ill patients as restaurants and cafes prepare for a recovery of their own.
Running a cafe in this climate is hard enough. Spare a thought for new owner Sharyn Malvella.
The week of the settlement was the week that ScoMo said cafes and restaurants closed.
Chillax Cafe in Springwood welcoming its first dine-in customers on Saturday.
We cannot wait to say, please take a seat.
Even though they're still assembling them. In Ashgrove, the local larder and wine bar is venturing into breakfast.
Adapt or die, they say, so we're adapting.
In a rare position to hire staff.
We've got a full-time barista coming aboard.
With 1 and 2 hour sittings booking fast. As businesses work out their new normal, researchers are trying to understand the novel coronavirus.
Part of it is understanding what our immune system is missing in the people who get sick.
Studying Queenslanders who've recovered from COVID, 20-year-old Jaden Snowden only had minor symptoms.
A runny nose, lost my sense of smell and taste for a few days, just feeling a little bit off.
The treatment could be developed here and distributed across the globe, with one recovered patient able to help hundreds that are critically ill. Council distributing some good news to kids.
For the very first time this weekend, we'll be opening 18 new facilities.
Across southeast Queensland, there are 11 new playgrounds from Bald Hills to Robertson and Cinnamon Park, 5 outdoor gyms reopening, including at Nudgee, Newstead and Chermside, and 5 sporting fields from Nunda to Wakerley and Fitzgibbon. A hop, skip and a jump away from normality. Georgie Chumley, 7 News.
Trade tensions with China continue to build after a rogue North Queensland MP labelled the superpower a bully. George Christensen is calling on Australia to push back against beef bans.
In the fight for Queensland cattle farmers, the federal member for Dawson didn't mince his words.
Communist China is just quite clearly being a bully.
After banning beef imports from 4 Australian abattoirs, 3 here in Queensland, Mackay MP George Christensen sent this personal letter to China Ambassador Cheng Jin-ye, calling for him to answer questions about the economic boycotts, all without approval from Trade Minister Simon Birmingham.
Do we want to keep putting all of our eggs in this one basket that has a snake at the bottom of it that keeps on biting us?
But economists warn the alternative could be costly.
If we can't sell to China, we will be able to sell to other countries, but probably at a lower price.
The outspoken MP didn't stop with a letter, taking to National Morning Radio and even writing an article for the Courier Mail to insist Australia must reset its economic relationship with China or risk the sovereignty of our nation.
We always respect the sovereignty of other nations and we simply expect the same in return. And I think that's a pretty fair deal.
A fair deal livelihoods depend on. Mac Lyon, 7 News.
A Beachmere father of 2 has died after he was allegedly stabbed in the stomach with a knife in Waterford West overnight. Stephen Fife was critically injured during an argument outside the units on Burke Street around 8:15 p.m. The 32-year-old later died in hospital, while police arrested a 45-year-old man at the scene. He's been charged with murder and will appear in Beenleigh Court tomorrow. Wall Street took a tumble for a second day as the Federal Reserve Chief warned of an economic downturn without precedent. The stark outlook came as the US President appeared to take aim at his own team, publicly disagreeing with his top medical advisor.
He's the face of America's coronavirus fight, but Anthony Fauci and Donald Trump are on different pages.
Look, he wants to play all sides of the equation.
Disputing the White House infectious disease experts' warning that it was too soon to ease the lockdown.
If you think that we have it completely under control, we don't. I was surprised by his answer, actually, because, it's just... To me, it's not an acceptable answer.
The call for caution on schools particularly clashing with the president's economic plan.
You can be driving to school and some bad things can happen too.
America's central bank, the Federal Reserve, today outlined its plan, calling for additional stimulus to avoid a long-lasting recession.
This reversal of economic fortune has caused a level of pain that is hard to capture in words.
As the president labelled the latest $4.7 trillion proposal,
DOA. Dead on arrival.
Almost all states have started easing restrictions. Here in Los Angeles, the city reopening its beaches for the first time in 6 weeks, as car maker Tesla prevailed in its standoff to reopen its factory. Billionaire owner Elon Musk had threatened to move the company's headquarters if he didn't get the green light to open.
Anytime there's friction, we hope to make progress.
In Los Angeles, Ashley Mullaney, 7 News.
A Porsche driver accused of filming and abusing police dying on a Melbourne freeway after a truck crash will remain behind bars. 41-year-old Richard Pusey was pulled over for allegedly drunk driving at almost 150 kilometres an hour last month. Pusey was denied bail in Melbourne's Magistrates Court this morning. The magistrate finding he poses an unacceptable risk. He's facing 12 charges, including driving at a dangerous speed and destroying evidence. There's building concern criminals are using COVID-19 as a get-out-of-jail-free card after a violent Gold Coast criminal received a lighter sentence. The LNP has attacked any leniency as shocking, but the Attorney-General says our courts are keeping Queenslanders safe.
A tough tackle by a Good Samaritan ending a dangerous rampage on the Gold Coast.
Threw the arm out and he went down.
41-year-old Akin Sen pleaded guilty to 81 charges and was already on parole. But yesterday, a magistrate decided he should be eligible for parole again immediately. I have to take into account the effect of being in custody during coronavirus. It is more severe.
People cannot use COVID as a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Former judge and head of Queensland's Sentencing Advisory Committee says COVID-19 is one of a range of circumstances that would be considered. When the pandemic began, Queensland jails were too full to enforce social distancing. But now every new inmate must self-isolate for 14 days.
I don't think it's going to be a major factor, and I certainly haven't heard that it's a common practice to regard it as a matter for leniency.
Since March, Queensland prisoners have been banned from personal visits and had to endure increased periods of lockdown.
And so all of those things together, it's generally considered makes time in custody more difficult than it would otherwise be.
The Attorney-General says Queenslanders can be confident our courts are acting to protect the public and keep people safe. Katrina Blowers, 7 News.
7 News has been given an exclusive briefing on a radical plan to make Suncorp Stadium fit for crowds to return for sport and concerts. Drones and ultraviolet light are at the centre of the program called Venue Shield, which could be rolled out across the world.
The best anyone can hope for at the moment is play with empty grandstands and no atmosphere.
We hope that it'll come back in a reasonable period of time when everybody's ready.
With the help of technology, Harvey Lister has built a worldwide empire of 325 venues and is overseeing from Brisbane a program called Venue Shield.
What we're looking at is what is our industry going to look like for the next 50 years. So we're looking at the potential disinfection using drones.
Like these ones, instead of spraying windows on high rises, they will spray seats efficiently with disinfectant. Stadiums are expecting small crowds to begin, with big gaps between spectators. For example, Suncorp in Brisbane holds 52,500. It will be allowed around 6,000. Whatever the initial numbers are when crowds return to sport, the biggest challenge is going to be to get spectators out of stadiums. The management here at Suncorp says it has that covered. No dashing to the exits, crowd control very foreign to Australians.
You might start with double Z row and ask everybody else to stay seated and then move down. Indoors, we're looking at electrostatic disinfection and even looking at UV treatment of the air going through air conditioning units.
All to make the grass greener on the other side of COVID-19. Steve Titmus, 7 News.
Now to the weather, and Tony, some showers and storms around today.
Yeah, Sharyn, it's all picked up this afternoon, but the patchy nature of that rainfall means that most spots have missed out, so far at least. Having said that, there is still a bit of rain around this evening. At the moment, we have some offshore storms. They've just pushed off over the last couple of hours, and a few showers lingering just south of Logan. They're currently moving to the northeast. When will the sun return? I'll be back soon with the forecast.
Thanks, Tony. Ramping up the rollout of high-speed internet in the southeast. Why some suburbs will have access to 5G much sooner than expected.
A week-long manhunt for an accused killer finally comes to an end.
Back in business, the New Way libraries are exchanging books.
And before the weather, how to improve the sleep patterns of kids who are out of whack.
Seven News, brought to you by Industry Superfunds.
I suddenly realized we're all in this together.
That feels especially true, given what's going on. It is good to know that our super will help us and our economy bounce back. And if you're with one of these, your super is invested in things that create jobs and keep Aussie businesses strong, delivering good long-term returns that benefit all of us. After all,
we're all in this together.
Hello, Angela. I have been watching you.
I came from Africa with nothing but a suitcase. My family is everything. At home, I'm my mom. At work, I'm a boss.
I got a baby.
I am Big Brother, and I've chosen you.
I'll do anything to win.
How do you plan to eliminate the others?
I'll sweet talk you during the day and I'll vote you out at night. Mean, but I like it.
I am Big Brother. Who wins? You decide.
Right now, businesses are facing their toughest challenges. Get advice and inspiration from other local businesses on cash flow, marketing and managing staff. Get the support you need at businessaustralia.com.
Dear mind, you're so good at caring for everyone else, but caring for you is important too. So take time to lose yourself in a book. And in the moment, learn something new. But above all, be kind to yourself. All my love, me.
Create a healthier relationship with your mind. Learn more at qld.gov.au/mental wellbeing. Authorised by the Queensland Government, Brisbane.
Is your home bursting at the seams? Call Storage King. Whether you just need to create more space, kids homeschooling, working from home, or your family and business need to declutter, Storage King has the answer. With stores everywhere, there's a location just around the corner. Making Storage King the kings of storage, moving and more. Temporary or permanent solutions with no lock-in contracts and contactless move-in. Call now and let Storage King give you back some space.
Get AHM hospital cover from only $15.75 a week. Yay. It's that easy, so you can get back to doing whatever it is you like to do. Even that. Find out more and join AHM Direct today. AHM, the simple bit.
From home time to sleepy time,
IKEA designs around life's precious moments. So make mess, mohawks, and laugh until your belly hurts. Because with IKEA, there really is no place like home.
The streets are calling. Make sure you're ready to answer. The BMW 118i from 49,900 drive away. Joy is coming.
Tasty, affordable and delicious. What's for dinner in the next break with Coles?
The week-long manhunt for Richard Barbaro ended in a Western Sydney apartment block early this morning. Barbaro was arrested and charged with the murder of his girlfriend Ellie Price, who was found dead in her Melbourne apartment 10 days ago. Investigators believe her body may have been there for several days. Barbaro will now be extradited to Victoria. Telstra will ramp up its 5G rollout in a bid to stimulate the economy during COVID-19. It means more Queensland homes will get faster internet sooner, thanks to a $500 million investment.
As our national economy slows, finally a welcome boost. Fast internet is coming to Queensland homes even faster.
What we've decided to do is to bring forward some of our investment to accelerate the pace of 5G rollout.
5G is already twice the speed of 4G, but the next 3 to 4 years will be groundbreaking.
We're sort of talking in the realm of 6 to 10 gigabits per second, and that's pretty fast.
And possibly life-changing.
Things like remote control of robots, machinery or surgery, you can do that on a 5G network.
In the Greater Brisbane area, 30 suburbs already have more than 50% coverage, including Chermside West, Ascot, Carina, Kenmore and 8 Mile Plains. In Logan, Heritage Park, Eden's Landing and Mount Warren Park have 5G technology. And on the Gold Coast, 23 suburbs are connected, including Labrador, Broadbeach and Tugun.
Rolling out 5G faster will make a massive difference to family and business.
While there have been community concerns about the health impacts of 5G, just this week a federal parliamentary committee gave the technology the all clear, declaring it was safe and transformative. And you don't need a 5G device to reap the benefits.
Everywhere we do a 5G upgrade, we also upgrade the 4G network at the same time.
Bringing more benefits to more Queenslanders. Nikki Hayden, 7 News.
Police have saved a child in a dramatic rescue, ripping him from a car during a wild shootout. The boy's father was trying to outrun officers and after hitting road spikes opened fire, all the while his young son in the car. The boy was unharmed. His father was killed at the scene.
Trying to save a few minutes almost cost this pedestrian his life. He forced his way through closed barriers into the path of an oncoming train that missed him by a whisker. Police released the video to stop others from making the same choice.
Australia is mourning the death of a friend tonight. The mayor of Villers-Bretonneux, the small French town liberated by our Anzacs in World War I, has died of coronavirus. Patrick Simon was awarded an honorary Order of Australia for his determination that the sacrifice of 1,300 Australian lives there never be forgotten.
Death, fire and illness. He's recently endured a devastating series of events. Now, the heartwarming response, the community banding together to help a man known as Pop.
Duck for cover. A scooter thief caught on camera in the back of a cab.
Advice for parents struggling to get kids to sleep during the pandemic.
And after sport, White Powderfingers reuniting for a one-off concert.
Guilty of the murder of Special Agent Emily Burnham.
Emily, she's alive.
You've been gone 6 years.
Where were you? Do you recall anything from your time in captivity?
No.
She must remember to save herself.
Whatever happened to her, it changed her. She's the prime suspect in 2 murders. She's dangerous.
Castle Stana Katic in the riveting new series.
I need you to believe me.
Absentia starts Tuesday on 7.
Hey
everybody, I'm Courtney Ralston and I'm super excited to be sharing with you one of my favourite sweet treats, a strawberry galette, bursting with rustic charm and sweet, jammy strawberries. And this pastry is a dead set winner. You can use it for sweet or for savoury, and we're going to start with 185 grams of plain flour going into the food processor. I've got 120 grams of butter. I'm also going in with a pinch of sea salt with about half a teaspoon of baking powder. And we're just going to give this a blitz until it resembles breadcrumbs. I've got 90 grams of cream cheese and we're going to blitz again. So I'm going in with a tablespoon of cream and we're just going to blitz this one last time until it forms a nice ball in our mixing bowl. Just tip this out, wrap it up nice and tight so no air can get in there. Okay, pastry's had 2 hours in the fridge. You can see it's gone nice and firm. So we can roll this out now. And I don't have a rolling pin. Let me go and see what I can find. No rolling pin. No worries, I found something that will do the job. All right, we just need to get this pastry onto a tray. So in here I've got a mixture of 50 grams of almond meal, a teaspoon of cinnamon, 50 grams of caster sugar, and a tablespoon of plain flour. And this is going to help keep a nice golden bottom on our pastry. I've got 500 grams of strawberries here and we just need to chop them. I've also got here a mixture of caster sugar, and there's a little bit of corn flour in here, and this is going to help make a really nice thick sauce with the strawberries, and about a tablespoon of orange zest. These are ready to go into our tart. All we need to do is fold up the outside edge that we've left here. I just want to brush some egg around the outside. That's your last one. Final steps, I've got some demerara sugar that we're just going to sprinkle onto the outside. All right, she's ready for the oven. I've got my oven set at 200 degrees. This is going to take around 40 minutes. Have a look at it. So let's slide it off. Let's cut a nice, generous wedge out. I'm going on with a nice dollop of vanilla bean yogurt. Time to dig in. Still hot, and that's how you make my delicious strawberry galette. There's never been a better time to cook food that makes you happy than right now, and this strawberry galette is one big slice of joy.
A 74-year-old widower has lost almost everything he owns in a fierce inferno west of Brisbane. It's the most recent incident in a heartbreaking series of events, but now the community is coming to his rescue.
It was the Dunning home for 60 years, where Tom grew up before raising his family.
It just can't help but have memories attached to it, you know.
Yesterday, fire incinerated almost everything, sparing only a few trinkets.
So some of that, you know, you might be able to clean up again.
Collected by Tom's beloved wife.
Just right here, that's where Lorraine's ashes will be. That's where the big sideboard was sitting.
Lorraine passed away 8 weeks ago. Tom brought her ashes home the same day he found out he has prostate cancer. He's accepted his fate, but can't accept hers.
You know, it's just like everything of her era is gone. Everything that she put a hand to, she's gone and it's gone.
Always charitable, Tom's now on the receiving end. A Facebook fundraiser's gathered $18,000 so far. Friends and strangers across Queensland have offered everything from furniture to food.
It's just amazing the help that's being offered. It's overwhelming. You don't know what to do with it all.
But what Tom really needs is an electrician to fix the power so he can move into his caravan on the same block while he plans the path ahead and processes the past few months.
I've got the memories, that's what I've got. Yeah, no, I have memories to reflect on.
Also a family and a community that will always have his back. Tom Hartley, 7 News.
The British economy has shrunk at a record rate and economists believe the recession will get worse. And whatever recovery Australia experiences will be affected by Britain, the pandemic and Brexit.
As thousands across England returned to work and took advantage of a slight easing of restrictions, a warning.
It is now very likely that the UK will face a significant recession this year.
The fifth biggest economy in the world hit by an economic sledgehammer on par with the GFC. That downturn lasted 18 months. This one has hit in just weeks. The London Stock Exchange dropped with fears the easing of the lockdown will lead to a second wave of the virus.
We cannot now go back to square one. We can't risk a second outbreak.
Complicating the situation for many British businesses, Brexit. It's still due to happen at the end of the year. Some believe the forecast Brexit-related economic downturn will be overwhelmed by the pandemic. Others believe it is now the worst time to split from the EU.
We don't know what damage the pandemic is going to do.
What impact does that have on the broader global economy for trading partner nations like Australia?
It's going to damage exports from other countries if countries like the UK have a much more severe decline than elsewhere. At the margin, something that will be damaging to Australia, especially if it's followed by other European countries which have similar profiles to the UK.
With warnings of more bad economic news to come. In London, Hugh Whitfield, 7 News.
Police are trying to identify a thief who stole a scooter from the Coolum Surf Club on the Sunshine Coast last Saturday afternoon. The man caught a taxi shortly after and is seen wearing a black shirt and shorts. He has a New Zealand accent.
Can we just drive to Brizzy, mate? I'll pay you whatever.
Anyone who's seen the man or the silver Suzuki scooter should contact police. Burleigh has had a bad rap for its sunset crowds, but that's also what will help the popular tourist spot on the road to recovery. In tonight's In Your Suburb, we also visit Southport, where the new councillor has a fresh vision for the coast's CBD.
It's the home of essential services on the Gold Coast, the courthouse, hospitals and education. But what's been missing from Southport is its bustling streets of culture and music.
So I see that will be one of the leaders in our transition out of this.
After the retirement of long-running councillor Dawn Critchlow, Brooke Patterson has fresh ideas for the city's oldest suburb.
Some practical measures that can happen at local government level people are going to see a difference very soon.
Reducing levies to ease the tax burden on business and plans to build lockers for the homeless. The Chamber of Commerce wants council to go further and move its bundle base to the CBD.
I think there is a long road ahead for Southport, but it makes sense to commit to that.
Through all of this, Burleigh has had more trouble keeping crowds away.
It's sort of like getting loved to death, this beautiful place, Burleigh Point, but it just comes with it, it's so good.
Crowded sunset picnics may be banned, but the message from traders is Burleigh is open for business.
Once they bring back the parking on Saturday, I think that we'll get a lot of turnover of new people coming into the street. The road to recovery here also includes a light rail line, a project that has divided the community, but one that's also creating optimism post-COVID-19. It's going to bring people back into Burleigh.
Work has also just started on 2 luxury residential towers perched on prime real estate overlooking Burleigh Beach, with no need to battle the crowds to take in the view. On the Gold Coast, Amanda of 8, 7 News.
With unemployment jumping again, many Australians are looking for a career change to prepare for life after corona. How to future-proof your job in a post-COVID world.
A double dose of help for a newborn pelican.
Public libraries about to reopen, the new rules you need to know, plus the new drive-through for books.
Plus trouble brewing, the new link between coffee and arthritis.
You've been gone 6 years. Do you recall anything from your time in captivity?
No.
Your DNA was found on the body.
You think I put myself in the tank?
Castle's Dana Katic in the riveting new series, Absentia, starts Tuesday on 7.
We're back. Scores are level, so it's still anybody's game. There's the tap. Looks it out. Oh, sells the candy. Heads into it open. Goal and drops it. That's gotta hurt. That's the stuff nightmares are made of.
Now more than ever, we know what families are going through. So this week you can pick up lots of specials like Rexona Advanced Deodorant 220ml, now just $3.75 each. That's half price. We want you to always get your Woolies worth.
That's why I pick Woolies.
If you're a small business, you've probably got a lot of questions right now.
which is why you should speak to a professional accountant who's trained in planning and cash flow management strategies. For further support, contact a professional accountant today.
A lot of us are spending more time at home, using a lot more electricity and internet. Unfortunately, iSelect can't help with your naked partner walking past your big presentation, but we could help shrink those household bills. Now's the time to compare, select and save with iSelect on 13 19 20.
Right now, knowing where you stand financially is more important than ever.
But with so many different benefits, rebates and concessions, it can be confusing.
That's why there's Benefits Finder in your CommBank app. In seconds, we can help you find the benefits you may be eligible for.
It's just one of the ways we're doing more things for more people together.
Olay was put to the ultimate MRI test. The MRI proved Olay intensely hydrates your skin for a plumper, firmer and more radiant glow. See the results in 28 days. Olay.
The power's in your hands and at your feet. The BMW 320i sedan from $69,900 drive away. Joy is coming.
Now more than ever, we know what families are going through. So this week, you can pick up a Steggles Family Roast Whole Chicken from the meat department. Now just $2.90 a kilo. Save $2.60 a kilo. We want you to always get your Woolies worth.
That's why I pick Woolies.
To finance, and the ASX 200 shed 93 points as unemployment figures showed the extent of the economic damage of the coronavirus pandemic. Banks and mining stocks suffered while the shaver shop jumped more than 30%, closing 13 cents higher as people turned to at-home grooming options. The Australian dollar is buying 64 US cents, 52 pence and $1.07 New Zealand. And if you need fuel, petrol prices are still high but should start falling. The average price of unleaded in Brisbane is $1.17. Drinking too much coffee can cause poor health, according to new research from the University of South Australia. The study of more than 300,000 people has linked excess coffee consumption to osteoarthritis and obesity. Researchers found those with lower blood pressure are more likely to crave that extra hit of caffeine. It's recommended you drink no more than 6 cups of coffee a day. In some good news for bookworms across the southeast, council libraries will reopen this weekend. But visiting them will be different, with new rules in place to avoid the spread of germs.
The only time you want to get booked behind the wheel.
Got some books for you?
Australia's only drive-through library at the Logan Hyperdome. Opened by champion driver Dick Johnson in 1998, it's never been so useful. Reopening on Saturday to give book lovers their fix in a COVID-safe fashion.
Got to drive through, grab your books and go. You don't even need a car park.
Nearly every library across the southeast will open this weekend, but only to 10 people at a time, and social distancing is a must. In Logan, you'll be allowed just 20 minutes to peruse. In Ipswich and on the Redlands coast, there's no time limit. In the Moreton Bay, you can spend 15 minutes looking for a book or half an hour on the public computers. In Brisbane, there'll be no browsing, and you must place a book on hold first to borrow it.
Unfortunately, there won't be an opportunity to sit down and read the paper or read a magazine.
All council libraries will also quarantine returned books for at least 72 hours, the time it takes for many germs on the surface to die. After that, the books will be sanitised and put back on the shelves, ready and safe for the next bookworm. Tristan Vorius, 7 News.
With soaring unemployment, many people are wondering what they'll do for a living in the post-pandemic world. Some will retrain or recover their old jobs, and others will also get new skills. Experts say it's time for the lucky country to become the smart country.
They've had challenges from COVID, but hairdressers are confident they'll be around for a while yet. People will always want a good haircut.
We cannot be replaced. People need their hair done. They like to look good. It's good for their morale.
But in a retail sector where job ads have halved, Seek's job ads for legal, HR, admin, sport and rec are down as much as 70%. Less affected, mining, healthcare, manufacturing, trades and IT.
An increase in demand for software engineers, change managers, project engineers.
The retail sector may shift to online sales, meaning fewer shop assistants but more warehouse and delivery workers. Strong job growth is tipped in the health sector and in aged care, especially home visits.
The jobs that will thrive are those that are going back to basics. So the police force, the nurses, teachers.
Demand for tradies should grow, assuming the building sector avoids a slump, and coronavirus has exposed our need for more manufacturing.
This is definitely a watch this space category.
COVID-19 has forced more than a third of Australia's entire workforce to work from home, over 60% who would normally go to an office. The question now is, how many will return? Home-based employment will need platforms to work off, adding to the expected surge in jobs in the IT sector. Chris Marr, 7 News.
Twin wildlife rescuers Paula and Bridget Powers are the proud mums of a baby pelican hatched from an abandoned egg. The pair discovered the egg while walking on the Sunshine Coast.
And we said, no, we can't leave it. So we picked it up and we put it in our incubator at 37 degrees. And then 6 days later, it hatched.
After a month of love and care, the baby pelican, named Rob, is ready to start growing feathers and will soon return to the wild.
Coming up, The Finger is back, one of Brisbane's favourite bands reuniting for a one-off concert. And sleeping easier, helping kids get a better night's rest in unsettling times. The time now for sport, and Queensland is in demand, Pat.
Certainly the Gold Coast, Sharyn. Yes, hello everyone. Coming up, the pandemic may leave 5 AFL clubs on the coast. Big news from the Titans. The dramas just won't quit for Peter V'landys. Now the referees are outraged. And exclusive, Ricky Ponting on the state of Australian cricket.
Beyond the coronavirus crisis.
We'll show you the road out.
Your family, your job, your child's education, your money, your home.
Special reports, night by night.
Your essential guide for the better days ahead.
Only on 7 News, every night at 6. In the transformation of the year.
Mum put her life on hold for me.
How do you repay a lifetime of love?
This is the one opportunity I have to give back to her.
The heartwarming transformation that will bring Jamie to tears.
I can't thank you enough for what you've done.
When she comes home, a mother's dream comes true.
This is a house of our dreams.
House Rules, Sunday at 7 on 7.
At Harvey Norman, get 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card up to the value of $500. The more you spend on 60 months interest-free, the greater the value of the bonus gift card. Shop for laptops, phones, TVs, fridges, washers, ovens, lounges, beds, flooring and so much more. Shop in our spacious stores or online. We're practicing social distancing to keep our community safe. Get 60 months interest-free and receive a bonus gift card valued at up to $500 now at Harvey Norman. Hurry, offer ends Tuesday.
Go!
Infused oil deluxe crisps from Red Rock Deli.
We are regional Australia.
We are winemakers.
We are coffee roasters.
Fashion designers.
Potters.
Bakers.
Shopkeepers.
We're asking for your support because the wine is pouring.
The kiln is firing. And we're open for business.
Because where you shop matters.
Discover how Visa's network connects regional businesses to customers across Australia and the world.
I love that Australia has these amazing extremes.
Even the harshest places have these beautiful natural surfaces. And those matte surfaces, how they respond to light, the effect that creates, it's incredible to photograph. It's the same with Colorbond's steel matte. Strong, enduring, yet subtle in its beauty.
For making sense of a changing world. For understanding what's next. For the edge you need. The Australian, for the informed Australian.
We're pregnant! Did someone say KFC?
The Sports Report brought to you by KFC. Get your KFC contact-free today.
Breaking news to start, Bryce Cartwright's been cleared to rejoin the Titans despite not having a flu shot. Approval came a short time ago after Cartwright pleaded his case directly to Chief Medical Officer Jeanette Young. This as the NRL season faces another threat, referees lodging a Fair Work Commission complaint alleging contractual breaches.
This is the take no prisoners side that Peter V'landys is famed for in Sydney's power circles.
Look, I think he's got it totally wrong. I think the scaremongering and confrontational approach is doing them no favours. We haven't seen what he's actually disputing.
His target? Referees Association boss Silvio Del Vecchio, who today launched a dispute notice with the Fair Work Commission over the NRL's decision to revert to one referee.
The first step is conciliation. And if we don't get through at that point, it goes to arbitration.
Totally ludicrous, and I don't think his confrontational and misleading approach is helping his association. We've done nothing wrong.
I totally support the NRL's decision to go back to one referee, and I think it's way overdue. One referee is far more effective. I'm assuming the idea behind that is to try and give the attacking team some advantage.
The move means all casual whistleblowers will be released. But it could lead to a strike, pushing back the Code's May 28 restart.
The NRL needs to cut its expenditure to make the clubs whole, because if we don't, we may not have all the clubs.
The Titans will have all their players. 7 News can reveal Bryce Cartwright's been given an exemption to train and play without a flu shot. The notorious anti-vaxxer received the exemption from the state government tonight based on a previous medical reaction to a vaccine. There's 6 players south of the border also refusing flu shots.
If we're having to go to Sydney because 7 players from a couple of different teams haven't got the jab, I think that'd be quite unfair.
Brian Kelly, though, backflipped this morning, now vaccinated and allowed to train.
I want to get back in the training with the boys, and rip it in,
Chris Gary, 7 News.
League heartland could prove the promised land for the AFL, with 4 clubs poised to relocate to southeast Queensland. It comes after the South Australian government put a major hurdle in front of a season restart, leaving a Lions star separated from his young family.
No wonder Link McCarthy's keen to stretch the legs. A 22-hour inland road trip from the family home in rural South Australia to Brisbane.
Things have been changing every day for the last 6 weeks. I guess all we can really do at the moment is make sure we're doing everything we can to be as ready as possible.
With that uncertainty, partner Taylor and 4-month-old Lenny stayed behind.
Whether we have to fly down to Vic or a hub sort of set up for a period of time, I don't want to be having to drag them away from family and then they be up here on their own whilst I'm interstate.
It's a thought echoed across the AFL. 7 News understands Royal Pines on the Gold Coast is gearing up to host not only WA's Eagles and Dockers, but now South Australia's Port and Crows. Overnight blindsided by their government's refusal to allow training in groups, forcing them interstate.
Our preference is Queensland, but obviously we'll base it anywhere we can to be part of the competition.
We'd be very open to that, very open.
From a training perspective, having weather is important. Obviously we're familiar with some of the conditions up there, so that's probably the real reason.
Critical question for us is to understand whether we can have families inside of the hubs or whether they can visit and then leave, and these are all the questions we're putting forward.
Until then, no club can return to train, let alone play. Ben Davis, 7 News.
Former Test captain Ricky Ponting concedes it would be disastrous if India is unable to tour here this summer. As Cricket Australia scrambles to avoid a $300 million financial hit, There are growing fears the home T20 World Cup in October is already a lost cause.
A bleak warning from our most respected cricket voice about the T20 World Cup in October.
It's probably unlikely, I think, that will happen, but for the game's sake and certainly for Cricket Australia's sake, hopefully it does happen. I mean, Cricket Australia are in a world of hurt.
And that might only be the start of the pain. If the health crisis stops Virat Kohli's Indian team from touring, it would mean a crippling financial hit of up to $300 million.
It would be catastrophic, really, for Australian cricket if India didn't come. Fantastic if it happens and catastrophic if it doesn't.
One scenario where COVID-19 could work in the governing body's favour is the Big Bash. There's renewed hope the world's leading short-form players could be lured down under to join our Aussie stars.
Let's get Smith and Warner and Cummins and Stark and these guys playing more games in the Big Bash. If you could get those guys playing with the best overseas players available playing in the Big Bash at the one time, then you've got the best product.
Ponting should have been coaching the Delhi Capitals in the IPL right now, but coronavirus put a stop to that. Instead, he and his wife are homeschooling their 3 young children.
I forgot how good I was at maths, actually. I've actually been pretty good at picking up on where I left off in year 10 at Brooks High School. So,
Mel McLaughlin, 7 News.
Sharyn, on a frenetic day, just before I go, great news for Broncos fans. Anthony Milford has taken up his option for 2021. He's ignored the Sydney offers and he will stay at Red Hill.
He is staying. All right. Thank you, Pat. After a 10-year hiatus, happiness will be creeping back to thousands of Powderfinger fans tonight. The Brisbane-born band has announced it will reunite for one night only.
The sun set in 2010. In front of a home crowd at River Stage after 2 decades, 7 albums, Powderfinger called it a day. Fast forward 10 years, countless calls for a reunion.
No, definitely not happening.
This hint dropped on social media last night. Then confirmation this morning the band is getting back together for a one-night lonely concert.
So we thought we'd do something positive and challenge ourselves to see if we could still do it.
Heather Batten is a diehard fan. She attended 9 of their concerts, 6 individual shows.
This is big news. I was sending off messages to all sorts of people this morning, so yeah, I'm really glad.
The band's final show attracted 10,000 fans here. Their reunion is likely to attract even more because it'll be a virtual tour aired live on YouTube to raise money for charity on May 23.
I think it's a nice way of doing it so that they can get all the fans together and so no one's going to miss out.
Only 9 days until these days. Jessica Mummy, 7 News.
A few people might watch, you think?
Oh, maybe 1 or 2. They're a very good band, aren't they? Excellent.
Pretty good. Many of us are having trouble sleeping during these unsettling times, and it's not just adults. Next, help for parents to help your kids get a better night's sleep.
And some better sleeping weather ahead as nights cool down. I'll have the forecast coming up next.
There's one place to trust for all the facts.
The enormity of the economic shutdowns and a health crisis.
Turn to 7 News at 6 o'clock.
Avocado, avocado don't. Avocado, avocado don't. Avocado, avocado don't. Aldi's Fresh has avocados. Do or don't. Aldi. Good, different.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
Save 20% on your second policy when you buy new, eligible Suncorp home and car insurance together before July 10. Helping you save when you need it most. That's the Suncorp spirit.
A few days ago, John had muscle pain. Then he discovered Voltaren Emel Gel. It relieves pain 2 times faster and reduces inflammation. Voltaren Emel Gel, now with a no-mess applicator.
employees of Budget Direct. Over 20 years, you have become the country's most award-winning insurer, providing top-notch cover for more than 3 million Australians. Will you fight to save people on their car and home insurance? Who are you?
Proudly saving Australians on insurance for 20 years. Budget Direct. Insurance solved.
Great Wall end of financial year value is now on. Get a brand new petrol dual cab or diesel single cab with a free trade and a 5-year warranty from only $19,990. That's right, from just $19,990 drive away. Great Wall, it's built to work.
Unlike most modems, Telstra's smart modem is cleverly backed up by Australia's best 4G network. So if the connection to your house stops, your home Wi-Fi won't, giving you Australia's most reliable home Wi-Fi. To experience better Wi-Fi, visit telstra.com today.
Unwind and live your best life on an island paradise. Together in Animal Crossing New Horizons. Meet up with up to 7 friends online and celebrate everything island life has to offer. Keep your island all to yourself or share it with friends and family. Animal Crossing New Horizons, only on Nintendo Switch.
Cameron Diaz thought she'd met Mr. Right.
I'm his wife.
They're teaming up to take him down. The Other Woman, tonight on 7. He's a complete stranger when he walks into town.
I don't know the best way to say this.
But for one of them, he will be anything but a stranger.
I'm your dad.
Coming up next, Cameron Daddo joins Home and Away on 7.
Making news tonight, Australia has recorded the largest number of jobs lost in a month in history because of the pandemic. Queensland is in a bad way, our unemployment rate the second worst in the country. Trade tensions continue with China after North Queensland MP George Christensen called the country a bully. And dozens of new parks, playgrounds and outdoor gyms will open on Saturday, all built during lockdown. Sleep, it's something you don't pay a lot of attention to until you're not getting enough of it. Parents of younger children will know it's a highly sought-after commodity. But advice is now at hand to help your family get better shut-eye.
When home has become school and the backyard the playground, the pandemic is throwing little lives out of kilter and sleep is suffering.
They're more likely to ask, can we watch another movie? Can we watch more TV? Maybe play up a little bit.
While experts warn the most common sleep problems in children are behavioural in origin, anxiety is the main cause of difficulties falling asleep.
What we're noticing clinically is that we are seeing more families who are struggling with sleep at the moment.
Sleep and rest obviously leads to better behaviour from the parents as well, not just the children.
Ensuring children have a cool, dark room is a good start. Lights should be dimmed an hour before bedtime and screens removed 2 hours before.
If we want to start tackling sleep problems with our children, we really need to make sure that we've got the right environment and the right lifestyle ready to go.
Cola and dark chocolate are out. Children should be put to sleep in their own bed and parents should avoid using bedrooms for time out.
The more sleep we're getting, the less on edge we are, so it's kind of like a nice cycle.
To help during COVID-19, Amanda has developed a 6-week online program to arm parents with better sleep strategies.
And to sort of start feeling confident in being able to help their child with their sleep at night.
And rest easy themselves. For more details, head to our Facebook page, Kendall Gilding, 7 News.
Weather now, here's Tony.
Thank you, Max. Hello again. Well, there was plenty of sunshine across the southeast this morning. Showers and the odd storm picked up this afternoon. It was patchy activity overall, most of it south of Brisbane. We saw a punchy cell move through Birkdale, bringing some small hail and a quick-fire 10 millimetres of rain. At the moment, most of it has moved offshore to some weakening showers near Logan. Temperature-wise, Canungra, the only location to drop into single figures this morning, a minimum of 9. Then tops locked into the mid-20s. Pretty nice if you could just find that little bit of sunshine. Brisbane, Ipswich and Beaudesert all pushed pushed up to 26 degrees. Onto the satellite, we've seen an upper trough move overhead, providing that instability for the showers and storms today. Heavier showers in northern parts of Queensland, with some areas near Ingham pushing close to 50 millimetres. Otherwise, fairly settled in the south under this broad belt of high pressure. Tomorrow, that upper trough moves away, so the showers and storms ease. The cloud will also ease back as well. A cold morning in southern states right under that high pressure system, and you can see that in the capital city forecast. Canberra, a freezing start, then a sunny top of 15 degrees. Melbourne, 5 up to 16 degrees. Some early fog there, and a couple of showers on the cards for Sydney. To northern Queensland, showers are set to contract to Cairns and the north tropical coast, a top of 28 degrees there. Townsville, a dry 29. Mackay, a bit cooler on 26. In the south, dry with a bit more sunshine returning. Maybe just cold enough for some patchy frost to return to the granite belt too. Toowoomba, 10 up to 20 degrees, a bit warmer with 25 in Maryborough. Across the southeast, clearing up again, so that means it will cool down tonight. Then mostly sunny skies, but staying a bit cooler tomorrow as southerly winds pick up. A possible shower for the southern Gold Coast late in the day, a top of 23 degrees there. And across the suburbs, especially the Bayside, tops of 23 for Deception Bay, Redcliffe and Sandgate, make that 24 in Manly. So if you're keen to take the boat out, a strong wind warning is current for offshore waters late in the day, while in Moreton Bay, south-southeasterlies to 25 knots. They'll be lighter inshore early. So in the River City, down to 13 tonight, a sunny and breezy top of 24 degrees. Then looking further ahead, drying up just in time for the weekend as well, when we can all get out and about that little bit more. Tops of 24 on Saturday, 25 degrees on Sunday. In Ipswich, cooler nights into single figures over the weekend, but that warms up a touch next week as cloud and the odd shower return. Gold Coasters, those showers should start over the weekend, but still plenty of dry breaks, picking up a bit more so into Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. And on the Sunshine Coast, amongst those few showers, well, the winds are set to stay up through the course of the weekend, so it will be breezy on the beaches, but I think for people getting out and about, most people won't mind too much.
Don't think they will. All right, thank you, Tony. And that is all from us this Thursday.
Join Michael Usher for the latest from 7 News at 10:40 tonight. For now, from all the team, have a good night.
Good night.
Each day, home and away.
They need to check again. Sometimes the baby's really hard to find. There is no baby.